Is it the Thursday edition of the Good Morning Cross River? Now, remember that this week is being dedicated to celebrating the nurses. And I have joining me the unit chairman of National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives from the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Nurse Monday Anake. No, so good to have you join us. Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
And we have still from that hospital, Nurse Kuyo Charles. Okay, Nurse, good morning. So good to have you join us.
Good morning, Cross River.
All right, unit chair, let's quickly find out what does it mean to be a nurse and how does it feel like?
Yeah, nursing is a noble profession, and I feel elated, I feel happy, I feel valued, I feel proud to be a nurse. And nursing in general is not just anybody's as a nurse. A registered nurse is somebody who has obtained a form, has passed the entrance and gained admissions into the School of Nursing to read nursing for 3 years, and after passing the exams organized by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria, you are now registered and licensed as a nurse. So that's who a nurse is.
Great. Okay, Nurse Nkoyo, how does it feel to be a nurse? And I want to come in out with my whites today. I want to appear as a nurse today. Talk to me, how does it feel being a nurse?
Well, the moment you see a lady or a man appears in white, in fact, it brightens your day. So anytime you hear about nursing or nurses, you know, the comfort, the cleanliness, the purity, they're immaculate. So it makes you want to be a mom. So I feel, you know, loved, valued, respected, useful to myself, my society, my family, and the community at large. So I would say nurses are great.
Great, I love that. Nurses are great. You know, those days when we hear talk of nurses, we used to feel that nurses are just women. Not until we saw that we could also have men that are nurses. Nurse Monday, let's look at the week set aside to celebrate the angels. You know, remember when we spoke yesterday, you said these guys are angels. Okay, so what's the significance of dedicating a whole week? Most of these events we have just a day to celebrate some stuff, a day to celebrate World Malaria Day, World Health Event, a whole week to celebrate nurses. Talk to us, what's the significance?
Yeah, the significance in dedicating a whole full week for nursing is actually the fact that nursing, one, is a profession of its own, and series of activities are put in place to mark these days, to mark the week. And people go back in retrospect, what have we done before, what are we doing now, and what are we going to do, offer in the future for the nursing profession. So the week is actually put in place, especially on the 12th of May every year. It's set aside to celebrate a quintessential person, Florence Nightingale, who is the mother of modern day nursing.
Okay.
And that is the pivot of it all, to celebrate Florence Nightingale. If you can remember the history of Florence Nightingale, she was from a very noble family, a woman who came out of her grace down to come and give life to soldiers during the Crimean War. Before that time, they noticed that soldiers were just dying out of infection from gunshots and all that. But when she stepped in, lesser soldiers died, and she did a lot of them. She was the first person who thought of even opening a nursing school, which graduated and brought about the modern nursing we have today. So like this particular week, the theme of the week is
Our nurses, our future.
beautiful. So you've heard our nurses, our future. You could recall, if you can recall back, it's not so long we survived a pandemic, and in several years we've been having pandemic. The activities of nurses within that period cannot be overemphasized. Even right in Nigeria, here abroad, you saw that nurses were celebrated. In fact, that was in 2020, that was a year dedicated for nurses to celebrate themselves for the good works they are doing. But incidentally, the COVID-19 came in and nurses had to go back into the field. And I'm sure they delivered. You could see somewhere like the President of the United States coming out, and presidents of them coming out outrightly to celebrate nurses. And the Nigerian case was not a different. So this particular year, why that theme is that we have decided to carry out advocacy for nurses. Nurses, most times in the social light, they are not well spoken of. And I want to thank CRPC today for leading that vanguard, for advocating for the good things nurses do in the society. So this year, nurses, they want to chronicle all those things during that period, bring them to the fore, and then look at that nurse who is invaluable, bring it back to a valuable nurse, a nurse who is supposed to be seen and seen as invincible, who is quietly out there working. They want to pull him from that place, bring him to the society, let them see, let them protect the nurse, let them respect the nurse, and let them value the nurse and the great things that it's doing for the society.
Okay,
so
great.
I think that's the campaign we actually need to lead within this period. The last year's theme was Nurses, a Voice to Lead. So in leadership, both in leadership, in management, in carrying on our activities. In fact, nurses are trying now to come forward so that people should see them and they know the kind of work they are doing.
Okay,
You understand?
Great.
And then for policymakers who have been there and making decisions and policies, we want to get them to know that there are quiet people who are there working quietly for the betterment of this society. They should also be seen, respected, and valued.
Great. Okay. Now, Nkoyo, let's look at the challenges the nurses are facing,
Okay.
especially a Nigerian nurse.
Okay. I would say we are faced with a lot of challenges at the moment. So I'd like, according to priority, I would say the exodus of nurses from the country, I would say it's for the better. You can look at it in two places. It's for good, in the sense that as nurses are going there, they have opportunity to get settled in a comfortable environment. They can advance, and you can discover that they can still boost our economy down here. So we are not totally lost as a country, having nurses to, travel abroad. And also, another challenge we may have is this lack of training from the government per se. Governments are supposed to organize a training and retraining for nurses to ensure that we are abreast with the current technologies used in the health sector. This will enable us to render accurate and effective and safely services to our patients. But although as Nursing and Midwifery Council as a body are doing quite a lot to ensure that we do not just sit down idle doing nothing. So we have been able to, collegize our schools. It's no longer schools of nursing. We can now have college of nursing where students enrolled to study nursing can graduate with an HND, which is equivalent with BNSC in nursing. So we are really doing a lot. Also, we have organized workshops, mandatory workshops, programs for the nurses to ensure that we keep updating our knowledge, because the health sector that we find ourselves, we need to be current to be able to administer, treatments to our patients.
Okay.
If I may
Bonnie, you have to add some more.
If I may ask some more, yes, we are to the challenges. Yes, as Dr. Korea has just said, our nurses moving abroad can actually add foreign direct investment into the country. Yes, but be it as it may, that is a loss to our country. Huge loss, because our best brains are the ones being sent out. Now, when they go to that side, what do they leave behind? They leave behind a very weak health system. Check the states now. A whole lot of nurses by this year would have retired a chunk of very experienced nurses from the service, because by retirement and some by exiting. What happens now? Our society, our hospitals have been left with just a few nurses that cannot meet the demands of the society. So on this level, I see that it's a very big challenge, not only to the nurses. For the nurses, we work under very strict burnout. You can't cover the shift, and you work extra miles to make sure that our health hospitals are covered. You know, some go out of their way, and they suffer a lot of sickness, they suffer a lot of burnout in trying to do so. Nurses, when there's even a nurse in the hospital, it is expected that that nurse should do everything because you are a nurse. So you're the magician, whether you are down, whether you're not down. We deprive ourselves a lot of things to make sure that we do those things. So it's a problem, even in the side, both at the state level, in the state level, the local government level, and the federal level. So it's our year that we have a lot of nurses who are out there, well trained and certified and registered, who don't have jobs. So government should come out with a policy where every nurse that goes out, that nurse should be replaced. Every nurse that retires, they should be replaced. In fact, in the next 2 years, it will the situation will be so appalling that you may go into a hospital and don't see nurses, and there's no hospital without a nurse.
Great, and that takes me to the slogan: a hospital without nurse is like a building without a foundation.
That's true.
Talk to us on that. Let me take it again.
Okay.
A hospital without a nurse is like a building without a foundation.
Yes, the nurse plays a very pivotal role in the health systems. You can concession even every other profession in the hospital, but you cannot concession that of a nurse. Because a nurse's smile, a nurse's touch, and all that, what robots cannot even do. So even in trying to bring out drones and all to do nursing work, you don't have that feel, you don't have that touch. Now, how does this happen? You want to go to the lab, a nurse draws that first. A patient needs a laundry service, the nurse draws that. The patient needs drug, the nurse connects. The patient needs, in fact, every activity in the hospital surrounds the nurse. That's why if the nurse fails, the hospital fails.
Right, okay. Nurse Nkoyo, let's look at welfare of nurses. How is the welfare package like for Nigerian nurses?
Well,
Can your take home actually take you home?
well, I would say that the government should do better because welfare is very, very important as far as human being is concerned. Even for a nurse also needs welfare. Yes, because you cannot put in so much, making sure that you're always 24 hours around your patient and you cannot be, motivated, for it. I think government should look out for the welfare of nurses in terms of remuneration, motivation, making the environment comfortable for the nurses, and making equipment readily available for us to work with. Nurses are so taught to improvise. So as a result of that, we tend to improvise in every aspect. We improvise for everything. So I think it's high time the people concerned stood up and realized that nurses should be thought of, should be, done something for, that will, make us derive satisfaction in the job that we do.
Great.
To add to that,
Okay.
What the nurse does and what the nurse collects, they're not, what the nurse collects is not commensurate
with what they do.
with the amount of job they do. Most times, nurses don't even sit down to enjoy their money. Yeah, either doing one work or the other. But they have a whole lot of responsibilities. Nurses are breadwinners in their homes. They are doing a whole lot of things. And if you compare with other clients, especially what makes people now travel abroad, you see that what we take is just like peanuts, or not just like a dot somewhere where nurses in other clients collect. It's not as if we're asking for too much, but we're asking that what we are giving should give us smiles to make us do our jobs. But I'm happy with what the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives is doing, both from top down to the units. We're trying to see how we can articulate our needs and bring it to the government for discussion. And that forms the crux of this Nurses Week this time, to be able to actively articulate our needs and present to government to hear us. And we want to call on policymakers, we want to call on people who are handling these decisions, to when they look at it, they should look at what a nurse stands in the family, what a nurse stands for in the society, and what they've been able to impact and give us our due.
Let's look at the issue of discipline. A lot of some of the patient relatives or even patients have said that they were being rudely attended to by some nurses. So if that is found to be true, how do you discipline errant nurses?
Okay, Joe, in every profession, we don't have people who have 100%. We have very few. And nursing is a profession that is guided by ethics. The nursing ethics. We have nursing ethics. It's taught in our school. Before you come back, every nurse is grounded with the ethics and the tenets of how they do their job. And the Nursing and Midwifery Council has also stated guidelines on how to deal with erring nurses. And when we find it like that, we seriously deal with such persons. For some, it may even earn you the withdrawal of your license to act. You understand? But the problem with the society is that most of them, instead of doing a good reportage by going to constitution, maybe we have arms like Cevicom, we have arms, disciplinary arms in committees. We said committees in all hospitals at all levels to look at erring nurses. But instead of utilizing those channels, they prefer to go to the social media. They prefer to do a lot of, and you see, you may sometimes realize that most of those persons are not quack. So my advice is that if you go and you want a nurse to attend to you, let the nurse provide the license. By that license, you can hold the nurse responsible. Because any female in the hospital could be a nurse, going by the societal judges. But I want to tell you, I'm talking on the public that we have set down rules. We have disciplinary organs that deal with erring staff. And when such things happen, they should be able to talk to committees set aside for that. Once they approach them, definitely they will have
to be disciplined.
Yes, they will be disciplined.
Okay. So, Nurse Nkoyo, let's look at your, on a week like this, what will be your message to those of your colleagues out there, your nurses, and even those who are aspiring to become nurses? Let's get your word as you talk in celebration of yourself and the nursing profession.
Okay. For my colleagues out there, I would say bravo to you. You're great. I love you. Keep doing the good job and the good work of caring, of promoting health, preventing illnesses, looking or caring for those people who are sick, who are afflicted, who are even dying. Keep doing the good job. I believe that your own reward is no other place than in heaven. God will surely, meet you at the point of your need and bless you. As for those people aspiring to be like me, like a nurse, wear white, do good things, I really want to wish you well, and I want to assure you that you are going towards a very good profession, a noble profession, a great profession. Please, you are welcome to join us. And I want to encourage public out there that this is Nurses Week. Please, this is an effective opportunity for you to reach out to that good nurse that you know, living around you, living, afar, home and abroad. Please, just a thank you message will go a long way. Or you can post testimonials of what nurses have done, those good things nurses have done. It will really go a long way, to get to us that you really care. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Manke, Anake, let's get your concluding word on this.
Yeah, my concluding word is that I want to thank the National President now. I want to thank the Registrar, Nursing and Midwifery Council, Farouk Ahmed. I want to thank our own chairman, Comrade Josephine Bassi, who is the state, the chairman, Cross River State Administrative Council. I want to thank every nurse and celebrate every nurse today for the good jobs you are doing. And we pray, as we celebrate, just celebrate and keep your head high that you are a nurse and most of your work you're doing is being valued. Meanwhile, keep doing your job. Don't deter yourself.
Thank you so very much. And we want to say, we as a brand, CRBC, will do our very best to ensure that we lead the vanguard of projecting the nursing profession in a good light. You guys are amazing and doing
Thank
great.
you.
I
Thank
must
you.
say a very big thank you to Nurse Monday Anake from the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital. He's a unit chairman of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. Thank you very much, Nurse Monday,
Thank
for your
you.
time. And the only lady in our midst, Nurse Nkoyo Charles Ekeng, thank you for your time on the show this morning.
Thank you. too
We wish you a
for
very
having me.
great celebration this week, and feel free to come on us any day you want us to push any health issue out there.
Be sure we'll do that.